We've done something that's changed New Zealand. That's the reaction of a 29-year-old man to news that organ donors will be able to receive financial assistance following the passing of legislation in Parliament last night. The Members' Bill, in the name of National MP Chris Bishop, provides 100% of the donor's earnings for up to 12 weeks after the operation, plus childcare assistance for those who need it while they recover. Chris Bishop took up the cause after being approached by Matt van der Gulik's grandmother. Matt had donated a kidney to her, and she didn't feel it was right. Donors were out of pocket for doing so. So you donate a kidney or a liver, or part of your liver obviously, and you are in hospital for a long time recovering, during which time you are not earning income. So it all began with Matt van der Gulik and his grandmother Sharon, donor and recipient, and Matt, the donor, is chuffed the law has now been changed.
The financial burden is no longer an issue, and hopefully more people will see and be able to do it to help their loved ones and even strangers.
What made you do it? I mean, obviously it was your gran, but, you know, lots of people have sick grandmothers and don't do things like this. What was it that made you think, yep, I'm going to be a donor?
I think it would be the relationship I have with my grandparents. Been very close all my life. So when tested, me and my two aunties were all compatible. But I was pretty dead set against doing it myself. For the fact is they've helped me. They've developed who I am now as a person. So I couldn't think of any better way to say thanks for all the help you've given me, to go back and do it and give her something what nobody else could do.
What a lovely grandson. But having done it, which was a fantastic thing to do, then there is a kind of financial penalty, isn't there, afterwards?
Yes, so I was lucky I had great employers as well. And my grandparents were able to subsidise me and assist me with my loss of income. But receiving only just over $200 a week from work and income, I was a new homeowner. I have had my own life, have insurances, all the normal expenses everyone else does. But $200 a week just did not cut it. So I was lucky that I had that assistance. But there's a lot of people out there who just don't have that ability, or are not in the financial position to be able to help someone to do it.
Yeah, and there's not enough incentives, it seems, at the moment for us to be donors, right? I mean, if you add a financial disincentive into the mix, then we really are going to struggle to get people to donate. So your grandma, I think, you know, I don't want to get carried away here, but I think just quietly she might have accosted Chris Bishop, the MP, right, at a function of some description and said, "Oi, listen to me," and he did.
Yes, so that was at the Balcott golf course, and my grandfather dragged my nana up the stairs. She could barely walk at the time, and Chris was not even an MP yet, and he promised my nana, if I get elected and I become an MP, I will take on this bill and I will get it through Parliament. And so Chris Bishop has been true to his word and followed through on this, because he felt it was grossly unfair as well.
How's your grandma?
She's doing really well. Unfortunately, the kidney did reject. So we went through the sort of devastating loss that it did not work for her. But we've come out of this whilst she's back on dialysis. Regardless of that, we've done something that's changed New Zealand and now made it an equal playing field so anyone can donate.
Matt van der Gulik. So Matt's grandparents went to Chris Bishop went to Parliament, and Parliament, well, last night it agreed.
It passed unanimously, so we went through unanimously through all the stages, actually. I think everyone could see the logic and the merit in it, and we tidied it up at Select Committee, improved it, actually, and it passed its third reading yesterday.
So what does it give people who are donors?
So what it does is it creates an entitlement for live organ donors for them to be compensated at 100% of what they are earning before the surgery during their recuperation. So, you know, a big barrier for live organ donors is obviously the time they have to take off work. So typically the recovery period is between 4 and 12 weeks at the upper end. And that's obviously, and you can't work in that time. You're essentially recovering and recuperating. And so for a lot of people, they have to make an enormous financial sacrifice. And at the moment, you get the equivalent of the sickness benefit. And that's obviously manifestly unfair for people, and so what the bill will do will mean that you get what you're earning before the operation, basically. So you're not better off from having the surgery, from doing the altruistic donation, but you're not worse off as well. and that's the principle of cost neutrality, and that's what the United Kingdom's done, that's what some other countries are doing as well, and it's now what will be the law in New Zealand.
And given our woefully low rate of live donors, it's actually not going to cost the government terribly much, is it?
Well, I reckon, and actually the modelling backs this up as well, so there's been some quite interesting research out of the University of Canterbury by Dr. Elizabeth Prasad, who did a master's thesis on this, that it will actually save the government money because dialysis is extraordinarily expensive, obviously, for the health system to provide. So the more people we can get having those donations, having live organ donations, the more people we can get off dialysis and back leading healthy and productive lives, paying tax, obviously, and of course not incurring that expense. That's not the major driver of it, I've got to say. It's not the major driver of the bill, but it's obviously an extremely nice byproduct of it.
We do have, and there's no nice way of putting this, an abysmally, shamefully low rate of organ donation, both live donation and after death. Is it time to look at other things to encourage people to do to become donors? For example, do we need to have a situation where we are all donors and we have to opt out rather than opt in?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at that. I mean, the Minister of Health, Jonathan Coleman's, in parallel with my bill going through, has been doing a review of our deceased donation regime, which is essentially when you die and you have the opportunity potentially to give up a part of your organs. And he's put a consultation document out there. He's doing a review, and the officials have gone away and looked at that, and there'll be some announcements and decisions made on that in due course. But the evidence is that actually that the best way of raising the rate of deceased donations is the behaviour and the culture in the ICU by doctors in hospitals. It's about asking family members would they be comfortable with their loved one who is about to pass on. Would they be comfortable, do you think, with them donating, and explaining to them about the benefits, the enormous benefits that you can give to somebody else who's obviously still alive.
Are you a donor? Have you got that down on your driver's licence?
Yep, I've got it on my driver's licence, and most importantly, I've told my loved ones that I'd like to be a donor, because what's on your driver's licence, and a lot of people don't know this, but what's on your driver's licence is not legally binding. So it's really important you tell your family members, because they're the people that the doctors go to. If you're ever in that unfortunate circumstance of a horrific car crash, the doctors are going to go ask your family and say, do you think Chris or John or anyone, do you think they would be comfortable with donating a kidney or liver to help somebody out?
Chris Bishop, the MP whose members' bill on getting compensation for people as they recover after being donors was unanimously passed by the House last night. Unanimity in Parliament, not that common.